Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is time for just a word from the Word. Our passage this morning comes from the book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 35. I'm reading from the King James. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone. And Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with him, to speak with God. Now, here's the story. Moses had just been on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, and he was so saturated with the presence of God that he literally came down from the mountain shining like a Christmas tree, y'all. His face was literally beaming with the presence of God. In fact, that shine, that light was so strong, it actually scared folks. It scared people so badly that Moses would have to put a veil on his face to hide some of the light because it freaked people out so much. So this morning, I have a question for you. Have you spent enough time in the presence of the Lord that God's glory shines in your life? Now, I'm not talking about to the point where you might have to put a veil over your face because there's so much glory on you. I'm talking about, have you spent enough time in prayer, in fasting, in reading the Word, that when people get around you, they see the light of Jesus Christ shining through you? When's the last time that somebody looked at you and said, "Wow, you are glowing," and you knew that it was because you had been in the presence of God, and that is what the person was seeing in your life? How long has it been since you have glowed and shone with the fire of the Holy Ghost? This morning's just a word from the Word is simply this. I triple dog dare you to get into the presence of the Lord. Shut everything out until it's just you and Jesus, and linger there until you are so filled with His presence that people, they're just not going to even be able to help but to see the glory of God shining upon you. Saints, we've got to let our little light shine. This little light of mine, I want it to shine for Jesus. But the only way that my light and your light is going to shine is if we get into the presence of the Lord. There's an old song that we sing sometimes. Shut in with God in a secret place, and there in the Spirit beholding His face, gaining new power to run in this race. How I long to be shut in with God. Y'all, you've got to get into the presence of the Lord. Not so that other people can see it, but until you see the glory of God. You see, Moses didn't get into the presence of the Lord so that people would see his light shine. Hear me. Moses was in the presence of the Lord because he wanted to be in the presence of the Lord. Get into the presence of God. Be saturated by His presence. Be filled with His glory. And then your light will shine. Because y'all, this world needs a light that shines in the darkness of the sin and wickedness of the world around us. They need the light of Jesus, and they're not going to get the light of Jesus unless you and I get into the presence of Jesus and be saturated with His presence. I'm not talking about where you're feeling good and doing a little dance or speaking in tongues and doing a jump and a holler. I'm talking about getting saturated in the presence of God till the tears stream down your face and you can't control them. Where nothing but the presence of God satisfies you. Be saturated in the presence of God so that your light can shine. This has been just a word from the Word. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. But until then, let your light shine.